All right, let's talk about something that's on the mind of a lot of guys over 30, hair loss. You've probably thought about it, right? But have you ever stopped to wonder why it seems to kick into a higher gear right around that age? Well, today, we're going to break down that exact puzzle and lay out a smart, strategic approach, all based on some solid expert insights. Let's get right into it.
So here's the big question. Why is hair loss just different after 30? I mean, you might notice a little thinning in your 20s, sure, but that 30-year mark, it can feel like a real tipping point. What is actually going on? And why do the things that might have worked before suddenly seem kind of useless?
And this quote, this gets right to the heart of it. It basically confirms, hey, you're not imagining things. The game has actually changed. There's a different set of circumstances in play. And you know what? Understanding those circumstances is the absolute key to figuring out a solution that works. So, what are these different circumstances we're talking about? Let's dig in and unpack that a little. Turns out it's not just one thing you can point to. Nope, it's more like a complex web of different factors that are all tangled together, and they've been building up for years.
You know, to really get it, let's just look at the contrast for a second. For a guy in his early 20s, hair loss is usually a much simpler puzzle. You can often track it back to one main cause, which makes figuring out a plan a heck of a lot more straightforward.
And this, right here, shows that shift perfectly. Before you're 30, you might be dealing with one, maybe two issues. But after 30, wow, it's like you've gone from watering a single houseplant to trying to manage an entire, complicated ecosystem. Suddenly, you're juggling all these interconnected factors, and that just changes the whole game. So let's get specific. Here are the big players in this new, more complex situation. We're talking about the effects of longer-term hair loss, the wear and tear over time. We're talking about nutritional gaps. We're talking about stress, a big one. And of course, the hormonal powerhouse, DHT. Each one of these is a major piece of the puzzle. Okay, so when you're facing this web of factors, where do you even begin? It can feel overwhelming, for sure, but our source uses this great analogy. You've got to cover all your bases, like in baseball. And that simple idea is really the foundation for a strategy that can actually work. And here they are, the 4 bases in action. Just think about a baseball diamond for a second. You can't just hit the ball and stop at first base and expect to score a run, right? You've got to touch every single base. And in our case, those bases are time, nutrition, stress, and that DHT factor. So let's do a quick trip around the diamond. First up, first base is time. This is all about just acknowledging the history here. If you're over 30, your scalp has just been dealing with this for a longer period. It's kind of like soil that's been farmed for decades. It's going to need a different kind of care than fresh soil. That long-term exposure is a game changer. Okay, rounding second, nutrition. This one's huge. Your hair is basically like a plant. It just can't grow in bad soil. Over the years, your diet and maybe more importantly, what your body isn't getting, it all adds up. Nutrition is literally the fuel your scalp needs to build strong hair. Head into third base, stress. And listen, we're not just talking about having a bad day at work. This is about that slow, constant burn of chronic stress from your job, your life, even from inflammation inside your body. That constant pressure can mess with your hormones and just completely throw your hair's growth cycle off track. And finally, you're heading for home plate, the DHT factor. Now, dihydrotestosterone, or DHT, that's the one most people have heard of. It's a major hormonal driver of male pattern hair loss. It's still a critical piece of the puzzle, and it's a base you absolutely have to cover in any real plan. So we've rounded all 4 bases. And this brings us to the most important takeaway, really. This is the reason why so many of those single-focused treatments just don't cut it for guys over 30. It's really just simple logic when you think about it. If you have 4 problems that are all tangled together, time, nutrition, stress, and DHT, how could a solution that only tackles one of them ever really work? It's like trying to fix a leaky boat by plugging only one of the 4 holes. You're still going to sink. And the source material could not be clearer about this. This isn't just a friendly suggestion. It's the bottom line. If you don't cover all of your bases, you're just not going to be successful. Simple as that. There's really no shortcut. So, if you remember just one thing from all this, let it be this. For hair loss after 30, there's no single magic bullet. Success isn't about finding that one miracle product. It's about building a smart, comprehensive strategy, one that addresses every single base we talked about. And that leaves us with one final thought, a question just for you. As you think about your own situation, what you're doing now, or maybe what you're planning to do Just ask yourself this: are you really covering all your bases?